All right, and then we're about to go live. All right, and we live everywhere.
All right, bet. So let me make sure I am here.
Well, Rex, while you share that, I'm gonna go ahead and get us going.
Hey, let's get
What's
it.
up, everybody? We are back for another episode live show of Real Talk, Real Growth, where we're gonna have some amazing and empowering conversations about relationships and personal development. I am Miles the Millennial.
And this your boy Rex Howard Jr.
And this is Coach Lauren J, your favorite relationship coach. We almost said it at the same time. I felt it.
You know what's funny? Me and Rex haven't been able to say that together in our in-person settings in so long, but thankfully, the show live, Let's Talk Like Men podcast will be back in the studio recording next Wednesday. So excited for that.
Yeah.
I'm
Cool.
excited.
Absolutely. And you know we're gonna bring you on the show soon, right? So make sure you.
Yes.
Well, today we're gonna have a really good conversation. We've had some different conversations leading up to this about how disconnect equals misconnect. Um, they've been powerful, but today we're gonna talk about something that was actually brought up in the part one of why misconnect equals disconnect in relationships, and that is why titles bring entitlement in relationships. So I'm really looking forward to this. You guys know how we're gonna do this Q&A style open discussion. Rex, if you have anything to add, Coach Lauren, if you have anything to add, please do so before we hop into it.
Absolutely. Um, as you see, try therapy, not me. Um, next week, I'm thinking about next week we'll do an official launch. We have full sets, multiple colors, and these bad boys definitely comfortable. If you're in a state where it's cold and it's winter, just stay alert. But if you want something expedited, just via DMS, and we'll get you taken care of more sooner than later. But that's all I have right now.
Coach Lauren.
I was about to say sooner than later and quicker than right now.
Mhm.
Thanks.
I like that. I like that. Well, all right, let's hop right into the conversation for today, Rex. Why don't you take it away and lead us on these questions?
Now let's get it. So, question number one is how do relationship titles like girlfriend or husband shape our expectations of each other?
Hmm.
And then the follow up, are these expectations healthy or potentially harmful?
Yeah. I think that what they do is we have an idea in our head of what each of these titles means, right? And a lot of that, pretty much majority of it, is based on our perception of what we saw, whether that's growing up in media, in our neighborhood and communities. And so when you give a person a certain title, like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife, rather than us really sitting down and coming to an agreement, we project our expectations onto that person and expect them to already know it. Um, and I think that that's a very dangerous place to be because on the one end, you're asking people to do things that they never signed up for. So there's always going to be disconnect, as we've already talked about. But on the other hand, you will constantly feel let down and like they're never good enough and the relationship is never good enough because they're not meeting a standard that maybe they shouldn't even be meeting. So I definitely think that when you put it on there, you come with your expectations. It comes from the things around you, and it can be unfair. I think it's anytime you place expectations on people that they aren't even aware of and haven't agreed to, you're opening the door for some disappointment on both ends.
That's good. What about you, coach? What you got?
Well, first, before we get into that, I want to make sure to remind everybody, share our live.
Yes.
And just check done, drop us a done, a fire or something. Let us know that you shared our live with somebody else because it's gonna bless somebody tonight.
Tell me.
I just feel that.
Yep.
But to me, it definitely puts us into like some potential harmful type of situations, and to me, it introduces us to toxicity. But the other part too is that it also makes us like kids again. You know, where you're like mine. You know, how babies are like mine. Like, where do you learn that? You don't even know your name, but you know mine.
Yeah.
It's literally like when we are getting into these relationships or even just changing titles. Because listen, going from girlfriend to fiance to wife, there's levels to that to the deal. And them levels come with different levels of expectations. And I think what would be healthier for our relationships is if we had a conversation before we went to the next level of like, how would you, at this level, what are some things that you are looking forward to us becoming or doing or expecting from me, as now being this, and you put the title wherever, whatever that title is, because whenever we are in a relationship and we are committed to this person, quite naturally we can say what we want, but we do have some expectations of what you're gonna do. It's
Yeah,
no different from Walmart. You're not mad with the greeter like you are with the manager. Period.
that's true.
You're not. Like, so those titles do bring entitlement, but I also think too that they also brings into conversation your character versus your capacity.
Mhm.
And we can dive into that later, but those are my thoughts.
Okay, that's good. Only thing I'm at, well, a couple things I'm at is this. It brings us into ownership,
Mm.
right? Like you said, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Like one thing I've learned in relationships, just growing up, once you make somebody your girlfriend or your boyfriend, you are mine now. It's almost like I own you now. You aren't able or allowed to talk to other people. You can't be friendly with other people. You can't be seen with other people. Like we have not only these expectations, but we have rules for our relationships.
Mhm.
And it's so interesting because I used to be that way when I was in high school, and as I'm sitting in the office and I have clients that are 16, 17 years old, and they say, well, my girlfriend can't do this, she can't do that. I'm like, that's not an expectation, that's a rule that you're given. Like you're not the parent. Right now that I'm on this side, I'm able to understand it, but that translates over into adult relationships. Once we step into exclusivity, then we believe, okay, you can't no longer talk to anything else, you can't entertain anything else. But if we want to go biblically, the only person that doesn't acknowledge titles is God. The only title that matters is husband and wife.
Mhm.
If you're not husband and wife, then you're brother and sister in Christ,
Yeah.
and you have to treat each other like such. And one thing I had a conversation with, maybe I was talking to Miles, I'm not really sure. And I said, when it comes to a sense of entitlement, I have a thing. Sense of entitlement irritates my soul.
Yeah.
Right. Believing that just because we go from one state to the next, you are entitled to my money, you're entitled to my time, you're entitled to whatever. That irritates me. I don't think people are entitled to anything that you're not willing to give.
Mhm.
It's what I'm willing to give you. But once you become husband and wife, there's requirements.
Yeah.
Right? There's requirements. I'm required to spend that time with you. I'm required to provide for you. I'm required to be intimate, right? And unless I'm spending time, by myself or spending time with God, so that we're not tempted by the devil, right? So
Mhm.
I think that is where um, problems can line, and it can lead into harmful situations when you feel like you have a sense of ownership over a person, and that prevents them from doing things and going places and talking to people, and then you start having like these narcissistic tendencies, and you try to isolate them from their family and from their friends and from everything that they normally do, and that can be very harmful in a relationship.
That's good, Rex. That's good. We had a couple comments that I want to read out. So D Nice said expectations that aren't communicated cannot be met. Once those discussions are had and those lines are being crossed, we can equally know where we stand with one another.
That's a bar.
Dapper Key said you shouldn't place expectations on your partner. D Nice also said accountability is key. People are going to meet you at the capacity and how they feel about themselves. Also, comprehension has to be seen and understood. That's good because that comprehension is a totally different thing than anything else. You got to comprehend a person. And the last thing D Nice said is because just like faith without works is dead, so are words without action behind them.
Mm.
It's good.
Hey, that's some emotional intelligence right there.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for those comments.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
got,
That's
you got
that's
feedback. Make sure you guys are dropping them. If you're on the YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you guys are leaving your comments and questions there as well.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So going into the next question, which is going to be very interesting, and it's kind of piggyback off the next one. In what ways can titles lead individuals to feel a sense of entitlement over their partner's time, choices, or identity?
When they come from a very unhealthy foundation, it can impact all those areas and to a very detrimental state. Um, one thing that's a big like deal breaker for me before I got into a relationship and while I'm in a relationship and probably would be something that I carry with me for the entirety of my marriage, right? Is have some business of your own, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be the only thing that you have interest in, the only thing that you have a passion for, the only thing that you have on your to-do list. I shouldn't be your only thing,
Yeah.
right? I can be up high on that priority list, but have some other priorities, passions, and dreams of your own, right? Because I don't want to ever be in a position to where you feel too entitled. That one gives you an understanding that when you got your own stuff going on, you're not going to sit there and project on me when I have my stuff going on. I'm a very
Yeah.
passionate and purposeful person. So when I'm out getting stuff done, you're not going to sit here and feel entitled because we spent the last 3 days together and finally I got to go back to work and do what I got to do. We didn't have our vacation together. But where are you going? I'm going to handle this business. The
Yeah.
same way you got some business that you got to go handle. Right. But if I had a very negative foundation and saw codependent relationships and people who could not operate without one another, well, then my expectation would be I want a woman who doesn't work, who doesn't have any passions of her own, and I am her everything. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk her out of all the things that would give her her own sense of purpose and pride herself. So when she's
Yep.
thinking about going to get another degree, when she's thinking about going for a promotion at the job, I'm going to sit there and belittle all that stuff to say, no, I don't think you should do that because if you do this, it's going to mess up the flow that we have here. No, 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 no. We're going to pursuing what is best for you because what's best for you, what's best for me, if we're operating under our mission and a covenant with God, will be best for the both of us. So if you got a bad foundation, then that entitlement takes care of it. It destroys all that, the time, the actions, everything.
That's actually really good. Coach, I'm gonna go ahead and go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One thing that comes to mind when I read this, it says, what ways can titles lead individuals to feel a sense of entitlement over their partner's time, choices, or identity? I want to speak to choices, right?
Mhm.
Oftentimes we may feel like we can control what our partner does, right? But the reality of it is we have influence,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? But if you are coming from the controlling perspective, you're essentially saying what I say goes, right? My way or the highway. If you're not willing to abide by my rules, my standards, my beliefs, my whatever, then you got to hit the road. Versus you taking the approach of saying, I just want to have my influence within my partner's choices. So if my partner comes to me and says, "Hey, babe, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think?" I'm just going to give her my opinion. And when I give her my opinion, she says, even if she doesn't want to accept it, she says, you know what? I think that is a great idea, but I think I'm going to go with this route.
Mhm.
Right? That's just me having influence. She heard me, she felt me, she thought about it, she rationalized it, and she decided that out of the choices that were given, then she wanted to take this one. But I think when we go into these entitlement roles, we feel like we control their actions and their decision making, which that can be very, very, very faulty in relationships.
That's good, Rex. That's really good. Influence. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fickle line though, and people have to tightrope it.
100%. 100%. And then even with time, like I want to piggyback off something you said, Miles. Um, when you're a hardworking person, I'm gonna speak for a man. When you're a hardworking man and you're dealing with a young lady that maybe you don't live with, right? Maybe y'all see each other on the weekends. Typically your weekends are maybe your time to go get it, even to go into extra grind mode. Maybe you work throughout the weekend. Your weekends you can be an entrepreneur. So your lady comes over because you haven't really seen her all week. You want to take away time from your job and you want to spend time with your partner. But there's that side of you that really wants to be there. Then there's that side of you that's saying, "Hey, I'm low key missing out on some bread."
Yeah, yeah,
But you lean in more to the side that's missing her, so you'll do that, and then maybe she decides that she wants to stay an extra day. But you know, on that third day, oh, now I got to get back to this money,
hmm,
right? And she's like, "But no, can you just stay a little bit longer?" And it's like, if you do, you're going to miss out on what's
yeah,
coming next, and the things that make you happy, the things that give you a sense of fulfillment, a sense of purpose. Like Dr. Miles Monroe said, a man's purpose is his most important thing.
yes,
If he doesn't have it and he's not operating in it, nothing in his life flows. If I lose my job and I lose my ability to make money or provide for my family, I'm not feeling like being cuddled up. I'm not feeling like going on dates. I don't feel like going on a vacation because I got things I need to do. I got money to be made. I got a family to provide for. So that's what I wanted to add when it comes to time. What's your feedback on it?
That's good. Coach, what you got?
You know, I'm having like jot down my thoughts. I'm real big on like, let me have jot down my thoughts. And thank y'all before I get into it. Thank y'all for those who shared. I see some people on Instagram saying we shared the live. I tried to tag it at the bottom, pin my comment at the bottom, but I couldn't pin it, so I'm gonna let Miles pin it. And thank you for our Facebook people who've already been sharing too. Shout out to y'all and our YouTube people. So I definitely want to make sure I said something to that. So a couple of things I thought about. One was I thought about post-traumatic slave disorder, PTSD.
Mhm.
And so when you think about, especially when we're talking about Black people specifically, um, women were property before we were people. Men were products before they were a person. So a lot of times the things that you're seeing from a perspective of this is mine or this whole ownership thing, it's really letting me know that when you're trying to own me, you don't have identity yet.
Mhm.
You don't have identity yet. And for those of you that are in a relationship, if you're moving toward marriage or if you're in a marriage, something that you said, Rex, I think it was either you or Miles that said this about, no, it was Miles, having your own thing. And then you brought up about the time. A lot of times I find with women, we will be the ones to be like, well, you're not making time for me. So this is why I make my clients put stuff on the calendar, because see, analytics don't lie. Okay.
Yeah.
Analytics runs it. Okay. It runs data. I love it. It's my zhuzh. When I am dating, and I am interviewing or entertaining someone on a very serious level where I think like, this may be something, I legit create a calendar. So we share time. So I can tell like where my time is spent because I am a business owner. So like you guys, my time is limited and my time is really money. So like they were laughing when we got on the call. I was telling them that like a lot of my girlfriends know I have more masculine traits than I do feminine ways. And so I was trying to get to the bag too. I'm like, listen, are we getting somewhere? Because I'm trying to figure out what are we working on. And if I'm working on something and you're not helping, or all you want to do is lay up, you know, chilling is cool when the priorities are done. Even my boys know that. Chilling is cool when the priorities are done. But when the priorities are not done, then I don't desire that. And for the ladies that are listening in, I want to say this to you, and I want to land this so well with you. Be what you want him to be before you get him. So you can stop putting these unrealistic expectations on the relationship. He can't go over here. He can't do this. Why he talking to her? Listen, get you some therapy. Try therapy and Rex. Okay. Try therapy and Rex before you get which next book. So he don't have to pay for the trauma of your parents or your grandparents or your great, like he shouldn't have to pay for that. And a lot of times our identity is truly tied to, unfortunately for women, who we're in relationship with.
Yeah.
Which means we're not tied and we're not connected to oneness with self and with God. So just as a man needs his purpose to be able to lead the family, a woman needs hers as well. And it doesn't make you higher or greater. If anything, it shows strategic partnership and alignment. And it helps you to partner better when you both know where you're going. I just want to say that. I'm complete on that.
That's good. That's really good. I wanted to add something really quick to what Rex was saying, because it reminded me when you mentioned Dr. Miles Monroe. Like he said if woman is supposed to be man's helpmeet, you have to give her something to help you on.
Yeah.
So how is it that she can help you if you have no purpose? If you have no vision, no guidance, no path that you guys are going down to where you can say, okay, now she can come in and she can put that creative eye on that vision that you had. She can come in and really support you in the areas where she sees you're weak. Oh, you're really good with, your execution on this particular event planning or whatever it is, but your organization skills are lacking.
Yep.
Let me help you with this, right? Your time management struggles. So I think that that's a very key part. purpose is everything, and everybody needs to have it. Do you guys mind if I read some of these comments that I've seen?
Absolutely.
No, not at all. And I got some of my Facebook comments at the top too.
Okay, cool. So, um, accountability is key. People are going to meet you at the capacity. How I already read that one. Next one was your partner shouldn't determine your happiness. They should only be a part of it and can add value to it. Um, next
Right.
question, next comment was a lot of women sometimes confuse submissiveness with being controlled. Absolutely true. Comes from, like Coach Lawrence said, an unhealthy definition and understanding of it. A lot of that is rooted in that PTSD that you talked about. I think also our partners are entitled to do whatever they want. However, if there's things that we are not for them, that are not for them, choosing the other way could determine our stance in the arrangement. Let's see, what else? What do you say when your partner asks you, when do you expect? Hold on, I think they need to retype that one. I can't read that one clear. The convo has been good so far. How titles can bring entitlement to a relationship. And okay, got it. What do you say to your partner when they give you a time limit on when you will be ready for marriage?
Oh my God. Before we jump into it, I wanted to say this real quick about the submissiveness, just real quick. Anytime a woman is not submitting to you, that is an indication that she doesn't trust you. So figure out where she stopped trusting. Either is you, herself, somewhere the trust is off, because a woman that trusts you, submitting to you is not even a conversation. It's a natural thing. Matter of fact, it's not really submitting, it's serving, and we enjoy it. Thank you. Those from the healthy relationship patterns.
Absolutely.
So what do we think about that question?
So ask the question one more time.
What do you say to your partner when they give you a time limit on when you will be ready for marriage?
What do you say to your partner when they give you a time limit on when you? So, in other words, they are giving you a time limit, or they're asking you when you'll be ready. Which one is it?
I'm not sure, but while we do that, we can wait for it and get another question going.
So no, I can. I'm going to answer both ways. So
Okay.
first of all, as a man going into a relationship, going into dating, you already want to have a plan.
Is Rex breaking up for you?
Yep,
Girlfriend, are you dating for marriage, right? And if you are dating for marriage, what's your timeline looking like? Before any woman asks you, what would you be okay with doing as a man, right? So before I met my lady, one thing I decided was, I'm looking for my wife. That was my goal. I wrote it in my journal. I'm looking for my wife. So when I met my lady and we had a conversation, and she said, "Hey, just to let you know, I don't plan on being a girlfriend no more than 2 years." And it didn't feel any type of way for me, because in my mind, where I am now, I know it doesn't take 2 years to know marry somebody, right? It can take 2 years to be prepared. It can take 2 years to make sure your affairs are in order. But at the same time, if you go into something with clear intentions, it shouldn't take you 2 years to know if you want to marry. I would say if a person is coming to you and like pressuring you and asking you when will you be ready, if that conversation wasn't even on the table at the beginning, that may not be fruitful at all. Because if they've never brought it up and you had to be the never on their mind.
That's good. That's
Your
good.
internet started messing up just a little bit, Rex.
Yeah, we heard what you said, but it was a little testy there. But and she clarified, she said asking you when you will be ready. I think you got to be real with a person, right? I think the struggle there is when somebody asks you that question. That's a grown adult question to ask somebody. If they're moving towards marriage, that's something that they're serious about, and asking you, hey, we've been in a relationship for a little while. When do you think that you would be, in a space where you'd be comfortable, excited, and happy to go be married? I think it's a fair question for a person to ask. I think the tricky part comes in something that Rex already said, but when you feel pressured, or when you feel like somebody is trying to rush you through the process of truly getting to know them, and getting to know what they want. Because people love bomb, people act super committed, people do a lot of things early on to make you think that they're serious just so they can take advantage of you. For me in my relationship, I think that I was about 24, 23, 24. I just bought my house. Money was good, everything. I think in a man's brain, the second his finances and he feel like he got structure in his life and he has a good girl around, he's like, I think I can do marriage. I think I can have a family. Doesn't mean we're ready, but I started throwing that out there, right? Like, I'm really ready for this whenever you are. My girlfriend is a year and a half younger than me, right? So she was a senior in college when I bought that property. I was a couple years removed from college. And she was like, babe, I want to like go accomplish some more things on my own first. I want to go to PA school, graduate from there, really kind of live life, as a girlfriend for a little while younger. I don't think I'm just going to be ready for a relationship or for a marriage as soon as you want to be ready for it. And I had to ask myself the question, can you wait?
Yeah.
Are you okay with this? Right. And so when somebody asks you that question, it's fair, but you need to be honest with yourself about what you can wait for, what you can't, if you can meet another person's expectations so that, like Rex said, you can form an agreement and not feel pressured.
That's good.
Rex, we have not seen your camera move in about 5 minutes.
Wait, you can't see me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you now. You paused.
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure. I'm looking at y'all. Y'all thought y'all was looking at me. I'm about to hop out and then I'm hop back in.
Okay,
Cool.
that's not a problem. So I'll answer that while you do that. So I'm gonna give y'all a quick testimony, child. Okay. So your girl had got married at 20 years old, American age. Okay. Your girl thought that was smart. I did. Tried therapy, and Ricks, don't come up here in my inbox with that. I got married at 20. Wasn't legal enough to drink, but I had a husband, okay? And and so that marriage ended after 11 years. And I will say, a lot of things that I didn't know going into it was I didn't know that I needed to know my own purpose. My parents, my mom asked like, the three high questions that Christian parents ask. Do they go to church? Like, do they come from a good home? And I'm from the country, so y'all know country folk are different.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one? Do they come from
Do they have a job?
Yeah, do they have a job? Right. They gonna do some of their life. So as far as I was concerned, I felt like, yeah, I did good, right? Go to church, don't have a good job. He's, got just as many degrees as I do, just as educated, if not more than me. So I felt like, yeah, girl, checking all the boxes, right? And we did everything together. That was like my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get married for the wrong reasons, you divorce for the right ones. That's what I learned in my healing process. And had I not gone through getting married as young as I was, and had not gone through the seasons that I've gone through, I wouldn't even be on this platform today because my background is banking. I have over 16 years in the banking industry. So I know everything about a dollar bill, okay? But I never saw myself being this person. And it came from me just not knowing, you wanting love, you're thinking that what you see on TV and maybe what you've experienced in your childhood, you're trying to become what you haven't seen, or you're trying to run away from what you've been in. And you're like, I don't want that. But this is what happens when you don't heal. You'll end up running into the same person you was running from. So if you're trying to not marry your daddy, you're gonna marry him. If you try not to marry your mama, you're gonna be laying with her. Don't worry, it's gonna happen, because that's what happens when we're unhealed. It's a part of us that still attracts a very broken version, and that is the part that traps us up into these relationships. And so I would say to myself now, to my younger self now, is, girl, know your purpose. Because had I known my purpose, I would have known this ain't it. Not because he was a bad person, but because we weren't on the same wavelength. Chick-fil-A and Burger King are both fast food restaurants, but they don't have the same values. And you've heard me say that. And that's a real thing. So now, as I'm dating post-divorce and 2 kids, it's very much show business. Because I like objective thinking. It's nothing like a good objective thought to really help you identify if this is really the right thing for you or not. So I hope that helps somebody be blessed by it.
That's good. That's good. Did anybody have anything to add to that question? We had a comment or a question in the chat.
No, go ahead.
The question was by Dapper Key. Why do people feel codependency is okay? It's kind of funny because I think D Nice already answered it in the comments. She said because they don't know they're being codependent.
Yeah, they've always been attached to something.
Mhm.
They've always been attached to something. It's almost like when you have a kid and the mom breastfeeds him, right? And then once breastfeeding is over, she still she still does everything for him. She
Yeah,
she does his laundry. She makes sure he has his lunch pack. She makes sure he has his gas in his car. She makes sure that, hey babe, do you want to go anywhere? Do you want to have your friends over? Everything is always done for him. So he needs her. So when it's time for her to move, when it's time for him to move on and move to the next stage, or to even like go to college, he needs to attach himself to something because he's never been his own person.
yeah,
And when you've never been your own person, you've always attached yourself to people that help you become or help you like form your identity.
yeah.
I call those leeches. That is a very big pet peeve of mine. And leeches only leech on, they latch on to live bodies, then they drain you dry.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't do no leeching. It just immediately, like, that's the one for me, Rex. The one for you, entitlement is yours, leeching is mine. Leeching and being sorry is about what and what for me.
It's
And
Aries.
I can't stand either one. And people and I will say some people do know they leeching. You know why they know? Because they're always jumping from body to body. Check the last body they left. Is that body a dead body? Like, run that last situation. Like, how long you was on that body for that body died? Okay. So they know, some people do know, and they don't mind draining you dry. And what they make you do is they feed your insecurity of liking to feel needed. When you don't have significance with yourself, you tend to find yourself being with people that always need you, because the truth is you lack self-confidence. You don't have a certain kind of security in yourself, so you find your security attached to other people, and that rolls you into idolatry.
Yeah. That's
That
Yeah.
rolls into idolatry. Then you find yourself being mad at God because you playing God. But see, playing God is ghetto. I would never want to play God. His job always safe on my time, because y'all be acting up. I don't want to be God.
No, fact.
So if you don't
And
want to be God, then don't be with people that's codependent. Period.
and and that's so good because I recently had a client that come into my office and his lady broke up with him, right? And he's never really had to do anything hard in his life, so he's taking this pretty hard, like scheduling multiple sessions a week. And he was like, Rex, I just feel useless. I was like, how so? And he was like, well, because I'm not needed right now. Like she normally needs me to, check in on her to make sure she makes home safe. She always does this. She always does that. And I said, okay, cool. There's two things I want to mention. I said, one, there's feelings and there's facts, right? You feel useless, but what are the facts? And then also when we to take it even a step further, and I said, so I hear that you feel useless because of X, Y, and Z, but how much of those things that you do for her do you do for yourself? He was like, none of them.
Mm.
And I said, and there it is. Whenever we get accustomed to giving our all, when we get accustomed to giving our all to everybody, but we don't give ourselves anything back in return. We don't ever fill our cups back up. The minute somebody leaves us, we don't feel needed anymore. And because we never needed ourselves, or we never spent enough time on ourselves to pour into ourselves, we have to attach ourselves to something. And like you said, it does lead to idolatry. It makes me feel like this person is my everything. And we even had this session where I had him break down. I said, tell me everything good about the relationship and everything bad about the relationship. He probably told me 3 things that were good and probably about 15 things that were bad. But by the time he left the session, because he was so sad, he was like, but regardless of all the bad things, I'm willing to make this work because I just don't want to be by myself. And I was just like, so even if you are willing to do whatever it takes to make it work, when you're going to hop back into a bad relationship all over again, because these are the things that are present. These are the facts. So that's all I'm gonna add to that.
That's good.
Don't be
That's
in my business. Because I just saw something like that happen recently. And I'm just like, listen, come, come over here. Let's talk about this. Like, what? How? What? It's the craziest thing ever. Y'all be careful like that, because there's a lot of people they're only coming to take. They're not coming to give.
good.
I'm telling you. Okay.
That's
So
good.
do we have any more questions from the chat?
No, not right now.
Okay, cool. So let's hop into this one. So, how does entitlement linked to titles impact open communication and mutual respect in relationships?
Say that one more time.
How does entitlement linked to titles impact open communication and mutual respect in a relationship?
Well, I'll put it as simply as I can. If those titles come with expectations, right, and entitlement to what you believe you're deserving of, what you believe you're supposed to be given, right, then it becomes a scenario when you're talking about open communication, respect, where people feel like they don't have to tell you what needs to be done, what
Yep.
they're needing from you, the things that they're going through. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this with women where they say, "Well, a man should just know." How? How? How is somebody supposed to know what you're feeling, what you're going through in this moment, what your expectations are, what you like and don't like when you don't communicate them, right? But that comes from entitlement. Oh, you're my boyfriend. You should just know. My husband should know these things. And then that leads, and I'm vice versa, when men say things as well, what it leads to is down the road, you're sitting there in couples counseling, you're sitting there in divorce courts because of all these conversations about what they should be doing, right? Not what you agreed upon, not what you communicated, not what you discussed. And so if I, as a man, feel like my woman should know, how to talk to me, to make me feel good about myself, to not undermine me or anything like that. When she does something unknowingly that triggers me, now I feel disrespected, right? Now I feel weak. Now I feel like I lack value. It causes a whole lot of problems simply because when you have those expectations because of the title given there, you don't think there's a need for you to open your mouth and tell a person or have open conversation to really get on the same page so everybody gets what they need.
Yep. That's good. That's actually really good. What you got to say about that, Lauren?
Yeah. At first, I wanted to fall out in the chair because, like, I hear that so many times. So many times. Look, Demetrius from Facebook said, "That's good, Miles."
Appreciate that.
It is because a lot of times, unfortunately, as women, we do that, and this is, and let me tell y'all why. Because I be giving men a cheat code because I be feeling like y'all don't be knowing all the plays, and women we give subliminal, underhanded, passive aggressive announcements of things. So this is what it means. We're going back to what you did when you first got me. So in our mind, how you forgot? When you first got me, you was doing this. Women are the queen of keep that same energy. Period. So for us, we care about consistency because consistency introduces us to security. If you are not consistent, we don't have a lot of security there. So for us, it's like, well, how did you know to do that in the beginning, but now you talking about you don't know how to do it? So that's really what women are saying. This is what I say to women. You cannot expect him to do something you've never communicated. So I'm always like, when there's this big, he knows it. When did you tell him? Well, wait. Are you telling me you acted like Angela Bassett and Waiting to Exhale when she said, "I thought if I gave you what you wanted, you would give me what I needed"? You do realize Bernadine was getting left, right? Bernadine was getting left by the time she said that. It's manipulation at its best. And so what we try to do, because we are afraid of rejection, if not more than men are, quiet as kept, we try to find a way to get you to love us in a way that we really want it. Because why? It's going to cost too much for us to just be honest and say, this is what I need. Yeah. I need you in this area. I need you to help here. Why? Because we don't want to be seen as weak. But the truth is, there's no weakness. There's just opportunities. And then there's strength. But we just don't see it that way. So we're always trying to underline the way that we give feedback or how we express ourselves. And so for women that are listening, that man does not know that you're mad. He don't know why you mad right now, sis. Stop slinging them covers. Stop slapping them doors. Stop huffing. Okay. He don't know what that means. He just may mean you on your cycle. He don't know. Like he don't know. So until you can't hold a person accountable to a word you never gave. And that's all I got.
Open line of communication. If I don't know, if I can't help. Just like that one thing I made a post. I said, if people don't know what hurt, don't know where to help. Right. The way I read it in the book, The New Male Sexuality, it talked about how men typically operate in relationships unconsciously. Right. We focus on the things that we focus on. We prioritize the things that we typically prioritize. And we read faces. We pick up on energy. So we're going to make sure maybe we're making sure the big things are taken care of. Are you safe? Do you have what you need? Okay, you got what you need. Okay, perfect. The feeling stuff you can kind of. I'm not going to read the feelings. I need you to talk to me about the feelings. But everything that's visible, is the cabinet broke, right? You know what I'm saying? Is the brake squeaking on the car? The things that is going to keep you safe, the things that you need for provision, and then if he's a godly man, if he feels any type of spiritual warfare coming up or anything that may get in the way, then we're going to be on that to that. But when it comes to just the day-to-day stuff, man, men operate in relationships very unconsciously. And without communication, we won't know.
Yeah, that's good. That's just what Demetrius said. He said men don't operate in the subliminal, coach.
I know y'all don't. I'll be trying to tell y'all the truth because she don't lie.
Oh man.
That's good. So, Coach, you had got a question that you sent us via text. And if you have that, I want you to ask that one. Are you guys enjoying the live? If you're enjoying the live, give us some likes, give us some hearts. Let us know your feedback.
Turn us up, man. Keep sharing.
Yes, thank y'all for sharing. So so you want me to read all three, or you want me to go start with one?
Whichever one you feel is the best.
Oh, I got it right here. So what happens when those expectations aren't met? Are we nurturing love or resentment?
Oh.
So when your expectations are not met, are you nurturing love or are you carrying resentment?
Let me go first, please.
Go ahead, brother.
All right. Because I think that when I've evaluated myself as a partner, and what I think has allowed me and my girlfriend to make it, 5.5 years, it has nothing to do with our ability to get it right the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, or 11th time. Okay. It is not because we understood what needed to be done right away. We knew how to communicate with each other. We had a conversation about it and then it got fixed. No, it wasn't that. The thing that kept us together and keeps us together is the fact that we see genuine, honest effort and incremental improvement, right? It's about people having an understanding of what it takes to grow and develop as a person. You don't come have a conversation and then change your behaviors overnight after that conversation, right? Certain things may be able to, some people may be able to do that in certain circumstances because it's not something that's very deeply rooted in. Okay, you don't like me to leave the toilet up, I'll make sure I'll put the toilet down. But something like, you don't like for me to shut down whenever I get upset in our conversations, that's going to take some time and it's going to take some practice. And if you have an expectation and an entitlement that your partner, after you have the conversation, is supposed to get it right, you're setting yourself and them up for failure, because that is not what being a human being actually is. We fail all the time. We're going to fail. Now, the questions you need to ask yourself, first thing is the failure that's happening, the thing that's happening that continuing to go wrong, is it something that is so deeply rooted that it's a deal breaker, right? It completely violates the trust of the relationship. It completely violates the respect. Is it something to where it's like, I can't stick around? Is it endangering my safety, right? Those are real things that you say, look, this is not something that gets a second, third, or fourth chance. And you have to be secure and know why that is. The second thing is, do I believe that my partner is somebody who is really in my corner and is trying their best to do better? When I look at my girlfriend's heart, I know that no matter how many times she may talk crazy and then she got to apologize, I remember the fact of where she came from and where she's at now. I recognize the improvement from when we first started dating and how she communicates with me now. And I feel when I compare those two, it's like a 10x increase. How do I not appreciate that? Why would I hold resentment because right now you don't have it right, but you've improved so much? We have to learn to appreciate our partner for the small incremental improvements, because over time, just like how compound interest works, a penny over time is millions of dollars. You know that, coach, you in that banking industry, right? So we have to really add the compound interest to the efforts that our partners are doing in our relationship so we can see the exponential growth that's going to happen in the long run.
That's good. We just said a whole lot of good stuff too. So one thing I'm gonna answer that is, Coach, can you ask that question one more time?
Mm-hmm. It says, what happens when those expectations aren't met? Are we nurturing love or resentment?
I think oftentimes, more often than not, we go straight to resentment. We go straight to I deserve better. We go straight to um, criticizing you always, you never. We go straight to I can find somebody to do me better. We go straight to um, just blame and just talking down on that person. But I think a concept that we all need to understand is this. So everybody listening, if you're a note taker, this is something to take notes on, right? There's two types of problems. There's perpetual problems, and then there's solvable problems. Perpetual problems are problems that are like personality differences, like deep held values. Like if I'm a night owl and she's not, right? If I'm an extrovert and she's an introvert. If I come from a family deep rooted of trauma and I'm so Christian based that nothing is going to waver. I'm not going to move from that. And I'm dating somebody that's outside the Christian life, then that's a perpetual problem. I'm always going to be like this. When it comes to relationships, more than 45% of our problems in relationships are perpetual, right? Meaning they're going to be there. So we have to learn how to live with them. We have to learn how to live around them. And then the solvable problems, that's, oh, I hate it when he leaves the toilet seat up. Oh, I need him to open up my doors. Or can you help me bring in the groceries from the car? Or when it comes to intimacy, can we not do it on Tuesday because Tuesdays are my work days, but can we do it on Wednesday? Like these are solvable problems. So we have to understand that there's perpetual problems, which are problems that are deep rooted personality type differences, and that they're going to be here forever. And then the solvable ones are the ones that we can get rid of. So it all boils down to communication. If my expectations are based upon my life experiences, what I grew up on, what I've been reading, what I've been feeding my mind, what I've been pouring my energy into, I'm building my expectations based on my past. But if I don't communicate my expectations, then I'm going to be the first one to be disappointed because you have your own expectations. You have your own way you live life. You have your own belief system. So I think without proper communication, without therapy, and without emotional intelligence, people are automatically going to go to straight to resentment, criticism, and turning away from their partner instead of towards them.
That's good.
Big facts. Back in the day, your girl was at resentment. Your girl was your girl was that, and I just wasn't that resentment. I was at Beyonce's resentment. If y'all remember that Beyonce resentment, that song that back
Got that get back.
listen, yeah, I wish I could believe you and I'd be all right. Okay. And today I would say I'm more of nurturing love. But that came from me learning how to give myself grace and also being able to identify the resentment that I feel. Is it because of what they've done or what I've never communicated? Is the resentment that I feel because of what someone else done or what I haven't communicated? Because I was very great. I am recovering avoidant attachment style. So I was very great at just holding it all in, as most women are, and like just saying, I'm fine, I'm good. The truth was, I'm not good. I am hurt. That disappointed me. I expected this from you, and this is what I got. I was trying to get J Lux, and then I got Timu. It's just giving ghetto. Okay. So I've identified that those things are way better. And quite honestly, if we communicated that more, the worry and the anxiety that we feel around harvesting the feelings would honestly go away, because it allows the other person like space and grace to give their feedback. But if it's just in your head and not coming out my mouth, here we are.
That's good.
That's good.
How
We
do
had
you
a
make
question.
things? Yeah, Quesa said, "How do you make things um with
I'm
when
assuming
it's a
work.
Mhm.
what'd you say? Oh, work. Yeah,
Yeah.
things work when it's a perpetual problem and not a solvable problem."
You have a
Rex, you wanna
conversation.
go?
Right, you have an actual conversation and you decide, especially if this is, we're not talking about marriage, right? Because I hate it, it's tough when you get into marriage and now you're learning all the bad stuff, right? Now we're supposed to learn each other in marriage in general, but once we learn all the bad stuff in marriage, there's no easy ways out. But when it comes to the actual relationship side of things, that's why you need to become a master at asking questions. Not to the point or to the extent where you become annoying, but more so you want to know about who they are, right? What do you actually like? How do you like to sleep at night? Are you socks on or socks off? Do you like to cuddle? Do you not like to cuddle? Do you like to sleep with the fan? Do you have allergies? How do you feel about the pets being on the bed when we go to sleep at night, right? Or are you the type of person that likes the doors unlocked at night, or do are you paranoid? So when you ask these type of questions and you hit something and they say, well, actually, I'm a night owl and I don't like to go to bed until around 2 a.m., and you say, well, I'm a big cuddler. One way you can compromise is that person that's a night owl, they come cuddle you until you go to sleep, and then they go finish doing what they do, and then they get back in bed at 2 a.m., right? So when it comes to making things work, when it deals with perpetual problems, it's having a conversation around what that problem is, and then also having a compromise that you can get your needs met, and then they can also get their needs met as well. So that's going to be the biggest thing I'll say.
I would add to that too that you first need to decide, do you want the problem solved? Because some people don't be wanting the problem solved. They just want to talk about the problem. But do you want the problem solved? Because that's two totally different things. Um, and so first deciding that. And then from there, I think exactly what you're saying, Rex, it'll work if we both really want it solved. And
Yeah.
action, have an action plan. I believe in a good action plan, a good moving forward. Moving forward, these are my expectations because it helps people know what's expected of them at work.
Yeah.
Everybody want to know what's expected of them because they want to do a good job.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Only thing I would add to that is boundaries. You got to know your boundaries, and you got to know what boundaries are ones that are deal breakers, right? Ones where you say, I cannot be with a person if this is what's going on. We've already talked about some of those things, right? Domestic violence, maybe infidelity, all those different things. Everybody has their own boundaries to where it's like, I cannot put up with these things. Um, Zero tolerance policy. But there are also boundaries and lines in the sand that aren't deal breakers for a relationship, but are very clear. Don't mess with me in this area, and I'm not going to mess with you in this area. Right. And I think people have to realize that sometimes the compromise is that we're going to leave each other alone when it comes to this. All right. Because whatever this is so deeply rooted and we both want it, it ain't worth us breaking up or divorcing over. But it is big enough that both of us want this to be a part of our lives. So if, let's say, she really values quality time and he really value watching the football games on Sunday,
Yeah.
and his thing is, do not come watch the football games with me if you're going to be nagging the whole time about everything because you feel like I'm not giving you attention. When I'm watching the game, that's my 3 hours or whatever of the week that I finally get to just enjoy myself and detach. I don't want to be bothered. But she is looking at it from another perspective, saying, well, my thing is you barely spend time with me throughout the week because you're always working, and the weekends are barely when we have enough time to do anything. There might have to be some level of a line in the sand where it says, look, I'm not going to bother you during your team playing, but when that team go off, I want to be around you, right? You have to know what things are deal breakers and what things aren't. Maybe that person needs to go get outside the house and go do something with somebody else. There's a lot of different things that we can talk about, but certain things are lines in the sand that you just got to learn. Like, look, I am annoyed by this thing because this person does it. I'm annoyed when my husband or wife does this particular thing, but it ain't a deal breaker, and I'm gonna let them have it. People should really learn how to let people have it sometimes because it does a lot more harm, a lot more good than harm sometimes.
That's good. That's
I'm
actually really good. I don't have nothing else after that. What you got, Coach?
put some of my parlays. Don't be over there. Help me pick my players out and let me,
Hey,
who
coach, you
got
a
the
thug,
ball?
bro. Coach be getting down, bro.
Drop me some wings and put some money in my parlays.
Oh my god, we're gonna have so much fun when you come down. Oh my god.
Absolutely. Okay, bet. Well, listen, I think that is a healthy space to stop. Um, yeah, I think that's a healthy space to stop. There's still 5 more questions, as you know, per usual. So we can pick back up next week in that spot. What's coming up for everybody, man?
Man, got a speaking engagement that I'm gonna be doing at Kip High School. So
Yeah,
all we're doing is finalizing the date now. So I'm super excited for that.
yes,
Um,
sir.
hopeful that it leads to more opportunities within the KIPP school system. So if anybody out there works at a KIPP school, please reach out to me and let me know. I'll come inspire your kids, inspire your staff, help you guys get on track. But yeah, I'm very blessed and happy that the Lord has given me an opportunity to serve using my talent. That's my only focus is serving. I put away all the other worldly expectations and said, if I'm not serving first, God isn't going to just sit here and just bless me just because. I need to show that I'm obedient. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What about you, Coach? What's coming up?
Love it. So man, what's not coming up, right? So we've got I would say this. Click the link in my bio if you've not taken our quiz to understand how you communicate. What is your conflict resolution style? Click the link in the bio. Take the quiz. It takes like less than 2 minutes. And let's have a conversation. So we've got some group coaching programs that are dropping top of the year for 2025. So we're already enrolling. Quickest way to get into it is right there. Click the link in my bio and book a call or take our quiz, and it'll allow you to get some freebies that way to connect with me. And make sure to follow me on social. So follow me on Instagram, and I am Lauren G. Jackson. You can catch me on Facebook at Lauren G. Jackson, YouTube at Lauren G. Jackson. So definitely want to stay connected to you guys. I'm super excited about. I love being with y'all every week. So that's my thing. And I do have a KIPP connection for you, Miles. I'm glad you said that. So I make sure I get that to you.
absolutely. That would be
Get it.
awesome.
Let's get it. And for me, um, man, stay blessed. You know what I'm saying? Just being a lookout for Try Therapy Not Me. The sweatsuits will be officially launching within the next 14 days. So definitely stay tuned to that. If you are a man and you're looking for a safe space to feel heard, to feel seen, to get some extra motivation, to have some prayer, to have some accountability, to get that extra little boost in the morning that you need, we have the morning mastery meetup, and we meet every single morning from 6:55 a.m. to 7:40 a.m. And there's no better time to join the group than now. So if that's something that you're interested in, go to either Let's Talk Like Men podcast or go to I Am Rex Howard Jr. On Instagram. Click on the link in the bio, answer 2 questions, jump right in there, and let's get this money, man.
And if you follow me, just click the link in my bio. It's right at the top.
Okay,
I'm still trying to get to the men's morning mastery.
One last thing I want to add, guys. I want everyone that watches this to see a very simple thing. Everything in a relationship starts with you and how you treat yourself.
Yeah.
That is a reoccurring thing that all of us reference in everything that we say. How you treat yourself is going to determine your proficiencies, efficiencies, and deficiencies when it comes to a relationship. So start with you and go from there.
Yep. And with that being the case,
We out of there.
see y'all
Deuces.
next week.
Next week. And we're